Hey, good morning, everybody. It's probably going to be afternoon by the time you see this, but AMC just dropped some news, which isn't really news, right? We all kind of knew or seen this coming because I spoke to this in previous videos, but essentially AMC was going through a legal matter, right, where they were trying to um, have the ability to sell their shares, essentially, in order for them to gain capital to help pay down debt, right? We knew that this was going to happen, but we also knew or figured there was like one or two possibilities, right, as far as how the market would react. And the market is reacting as if they just don't want to take the ride with AMC, which I totally understand. So AMC was just approved for having the ability to hire a security or entity to sell Class A stocks of AMC for them, upwards of $200 million worth, right? So what does that mean, right? Essentially, AMC would be able to use this ability to sell this amount of shares, or this dollar value of shares, in order to raise capital, in order to save their business, and then help kind of control that gap of depreciation from when they were going through the pandemic times, and then the writer strike, or the actor strike, or whatever it was, right? So got some notes here, so I'm going to read and then pop up. But for AMC, essentially, like I said, it's a way for them to raise money and use things like running their business and paying off debt. So this isn't, they can't use it for anything outside of the business, from what I understand, right? So selling shares into the market is like dumping shares into the market, right? Or selling off a position. And what happens when you sell off? Everybody, retail investors, or whatever, they start to unload because they don't want to take the hit, right? They don't want to go down with the ship, and they don't know how far down that this can go. So everybody just kind of just going in and selling off or shorting the stock, right? So for retail investors, this could be an opportunity for us to buy more AMC stocks if we believe the price will go up eventually. The problem is that you don't want to just buy the stock right now. You want to wait for it to find some support. And as of right now, the last support level was of, let me see here, we had a low of $3.59, and AMC is approaching that, currently trading at $3.68. So I still hold my AMC shares. However, if it breaks below $3.50, there's no floor. There's no support. It could fall all the way down to $1 for all I know, but I'm not going on that ride. I'm hoping that AMC finds the strength at 356. If I see the strength there, I'm likely to buy more AMC and then add to my leap positions, because ultimately, for anybody to think, I mean, you think the way you want to think, but for anybody to think that AMC is going to go bankrupt, or I mean, anybody can go Chapter 11, but and still recover. But if you think AMC is just going to evaporate and then the business will no longer exist, then that's interesting, because I don't see that happening. They have too much real estate, first of all, and that's the name of the game. Just so you know, the name of the game is real estate. That's why McDonald's has been so successful. Like, I mean, I know you guys everybody thinks that they're just flipping burgers and making their profits there, but their key moneymaker is their real estate and their location. So anyway, with AMC expanding across the world, and then they also are doing all these things like becoming or funding funding certain projects that are turned down by Hollywood, and opening their stadiums to conferences, and turning them into IMAX, and having concessions like or wait staff in the theaters. It's just they're doing a lot of things in order to adapt to the times to make the movie theater more attractive for people to come. Not only that, you see in Hollywood that they are making movies mandatory to only drop in theaters. So Dune 2, if you wanted to see Dune 2, amazing movie. Just broke some records. I think it was like 150 million, billion. I don't even remember. It's nuts. But if you want to see that movie, either you bootleg it, right? That's still a thing. Or you go ahead and go to the theaters and go check it out, and then in my opinion, and if you read any reviews, the theaters is the best way to view that movie. And I'm saying that because if you see over there, that's my projector. I have a 100 inch 4K projector, and I have Def Tech sound system. So I got a pretty nice setup. But Dune 2, dope in the theaters. So the hype for movies, especially this year, is absolutely real, in my opinion. I think that AMC is going to crush their quarter coming up, but that's beside the fact. Right now, the market is reacting to what it's doing. So yes, like I said, this is an opportunity to buy once you find support. But there's also a big risk that the price could go down, and you can lose all your money. But that's the risk that you play when you're in these hot stocks, you know. So moral of the story, this is not financial advice, but don't bet or don't put in more than what you're willing to lose. And then know your entries and know your exits, because it's just the way it is. Right now, they're looking at this headline news as if it's new and they're reacting to it, right? Like, what did you think was going to happen, right? Once AMC was ruled like in favor of that whole legal situation, instantly I thought, well, Adam Aaron's likely going to sell off in order to do whatever he needs to do with the company. The entire MO of AMC has been trying to build capital or raise money in order for them to either stay afloat or make the necessary improvements for them to grow. Ultimately, it's paying down debt while doing those things simultaneously. But that's the MO, right? But you have to look at it from, take yourself out of it as if like, so if you're in AMC and you're a stockholder, right? You're probably pissed or whatever. You feeling some type of way about the company and Adam Aaron and all this other BS, whatever. You're in your feelings, right? You're in your chest. So take that out of the equation. Try to be unbiased. Try to think from a perspective outside of be in the company as an investor. So me, if I'm looking at AMC and what they're doing in order to like save and improve your company, I like it. It makes sense. They have the option to sell up to $250 million of shares. They didn't say they will, but they will. You know, the problem is we just don't know. But by having that option, they'd be stupid not to do that, right? They'd be stupid not to do that if it makes sense. Now, remember, think about it. If they are selling, right? If they're selling to raise capital and they're paying down debt, then what is that going to look like when the estimates come around with your profit margins, right? Right? So if you have less debt and more revenue, and not just more revenue, but the revenue has increased from quarter over quarter or year over year, how does that look, right? You got to think about it. So I'm not afraid of what's happening here. I am kind of like a little sensitive as far as like how the market reacts, and then what's going to happen under $3.51 or 56 cents. I forgot what the number was. Whatever I just said. Okay. But if we can't find a support, then I guess we're waiting. and we're on the long road for AMC. I think ultimately, though, if it bleeds, if it continues to dump or whatever, it's going to be a complete 180 V-shaped formation come the next earnings because of the heavy hitters that's already going. You got Kung Fu Panda, you got Dune 2, you got Kong versus Godzilla coming out this Friday. I'm taking my kids to see that movie. Absolutely. So it's just I can't wrap my head around them not surviving and not thriving, even, especially after I listened to that boring earnings call that they had. Adam Aaron essentially stated that if it wasn't for the writer's strike, right, they were on track to be at, or if not exceeding, pre-pandemic highs, which is insane as far as like, their sales and gross profit and things of that nature. That was a huge gap. Like, that writer strike hurt them because it pushed movies out not to 2024, not to 2025 necessarily. Some movies going out to 2026. So it was big, right? So do your own research. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't be so fast to jump in. Again, this is not financial advice. Just pay attention. Just think about the business decision or decisions that will be made and could be made with the AMC's ability to sell $250 million worth of AMC stock. Okay, is smart. Okay. So anyway, any questions, hit me in the comments. Most of my daily content, if I do post something, is on Instagram. I only do YouTube videos if it's going to be longer than the 90 seconds. So I thought this was pretty important. So here I am. Take care.